So today we are going to be looking at software for the brain. Now, this is an extension for some of you who are here who may have not attended the previous sessions. This is an extension of that's part 12 of the power of personal achievement by it's a series long training session by Brian Tracy, who is an international multimillionaire and a motivational speaker, businessman who has been largely into sales. So his training I happen to have come across, and that's what I have gleaned into these presentations. So till now, the various things that we have seen from the start of this particular series is first 7 truths about you. All these videos are available, and when I upload this particular video on YouTube, I will put the link at the top. Also on the top corner, you will find that link. Then 7 mental laws we spoke about. Then we spoke about how to unlock our potential. Then we spoke about how to take charge of our life. Then eliminating negative emotions. We had spoken about it. Then we spoke about releasing the brakes. When we say releasing the brakes, see, we want to go ahead, but like we have one wheel jammed. You are trying to, all the other wheels of the car are spinning, but this one wheel is not released. So how to release the brakes and let the car move? So that's what we spoke about. Then worry busters, this whole tendency to worry, how to address that. And programming our mind for success, very, very specific techniques we have spoken about. There is what we call the self-concept. There is this thing called the self-concept, self-image, self-esteem. So we spoke about how to change our self-concept. We will continue to talk about it further. And now next we had moved into the new mental diet. And from there, we are now graduating to software for the brain. So today is going to be very, very specific things that you can do. Of course, I'm going to position it in the context of our Indusviva activity, but you can apply it in any area of your life. So basically, the whole exercise is that if you understand the point that if our subconscious mind is rightly programmed, see, right now we are kind of using our whole mind against ourselves in multiple ways. If we can understand that and use it in a positive way, then dramatic things can happen in our life. So we are going to look at mechanisms that can be used for rapid behavioral change and attitude change. So that's what we're going to look at today. So they are very specific techniques we are going to look at. So one is what Brian Tracy calls the written programming technique. Now, this technique is based on the fact that we are taking in information, any information that we are exposed to, we are taking it in 3 ways. One is what we hear, the auditory route. So this auditory information, if we sub-vocalize, that means when you say it to yourself, that is also a feedback mechanism for ourselves. See, remember that we are always in a mode of self-talk. Whether we accept it, don't accept it, realize it, don't realize it, continuously there is self-talk going on. The point is, if we can make the self-talk in a positive way, if we can shift it to what we want rather than what we don't want, things can change. So sub-vocalizing it, that is saying it to ourselves. Auditory is one part. Second is what we see. Visually, what is it that we are seeing? So when you write down your goals, you are again seeing that. So that is one mechanism. And the third is kinesthetic, what we feel, the sense, the emotions, the physical sense of writing it, the physical sense of when we touch and feel things. So the body goes through a lot of action as we write it. So why this written programming technique works is because all 3 levels of our information input is activated when we do this writing. So auditory is activated, the visual is impacted, and also the kinesthetic is impacted. So you hear, see, and feel the emotions that go with what you write. And what is it that we are writing about? We are talking about writing down our goals. In all this various things that we have spoken about, we are basically, the overall focus of what we are trying to do is first getting clarity about what is it that we want, what is the direction in which we want our life to go. Once that clarity is there, that is what we call the goals, our dreams and the goals. Once that clarity is there, we are now working towards how to make it happen in our life. So basic thing is writing and rewriting our goals day after day is a very, very powerful mechanism for activating the subconscious mind and programming it to achieve what we want to achieve. Now, the process of programming the subconscious mind, we have spoken in the past sessions. So I would invite all of you, whoever, if you don't remember it or if you have not seen it or not attended it, please watch the videos on the YouTube channel, Way to Wellness. There is a complete playlist. I can share it in the group again. So please open that and go from step one. That is video number 1, 2, 3. Just go sequentially. Right. Now, the written programming technique, how do you practice it every morning? What do you practice? Rewrite your major goals as affirmations. Now, what do we mean by affirmations? An affirmation is positive. That means we do not use negative words. We do not use the word no, not, don't. Okay, I don't want. Say what you want. Don't say what you don't want. Right? So make it positive. First thing. Second is it should be in the present tense. It may not be a reality as of today, but even if it's not a reality today, write it as if it is a reality just now. So use the word am, I achieve, I do, as if it is happening right now, right? So use present tense, positive present tense, and third is personal. Always begins with I. It's not that somebody is doing it, it is I. So we will look at specific examples. For example, you want to achieve a certain weight. Like I want to reach a weight of 64 kilos. Is one of my goals, right? So I weigh 64 kilograms is a very, very categoric, positive, clear affirmation. Okay, so that's like a goal. The practice of writing it down, the practice of speaking it out, the practice of visualizing, which we will talk about, all these things. So this is the next step. Once you have done that writing down, okay, remember that these are things, techniques that we are applying in our Indus Viva process. So that means, for example, right now for me, the goal that I am working on is the achieving the next rank. So the team volume that is required for the next rank is the goal that I have set. And that is the goal that I am writing down on a daily basis. I write it 21 times. Okay, this is a process. The interesting thing is I never took any of these things seriously. But in the last, I would say 2 months or so, I have actually taken it quite seriously and I'm actually actively working on it. Visualizing, writing it down, all these things. So once you finish the writing down, once you are clear, you've written it down, close your eyes and visualize your major goals as if they are already accomplished, as if it is a truth right now. For example, in our Indus Viva possibility, the ultimate, not the ultimate, one of the highest goals that we can achieve, it's like what we call the ceiling income for a Black Diamond ambassador is 2.5 lakhs per week is a possibility. So one affirmation that we could use from the Indus Viva context is, I earn rupees 2.5 lakh per week from Indus Viva. A very simple, precise, clear statement. Now, as you are visualizing it, visualize in our context that huge team that is growing under us. Okay, there are so many leaders getting created. Visualize yourself inspiring and leading that whole team, hand-holding them and creating tens of hundreds of leaders, and that whole thing growing and becoming a reality. So this is the steps. See, the point is that we are not just visualizing the end result, we are also visualizing the steps that go towards making it. So in the Indus Viva context, there is a huge team that is growing. Then you as a leader, you are inspiring them, you are leading them, you are hand-holding them and creating many more leaders. And the end result is that this income gets generated. Then the final way you can visualize it is that in your bank account, you're opening your bank account or you're checking your bank account online and you're seeing the entry that on Tuesday, 2.5 lakhs has come into your account as an income. This is the ways we go about visualizing it. Now, this process of visualizing, and there is, particularly if you do this visualization in a very relaxed frame of mind, it bypasses the conscious mind. Okay, and it is like you're giving as if success experiences, you're continuously giving success experiences to your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, the way it works is that it is not, see, the conscious mind is the logical mind. It will kind of filter out, oh, is it possible, not possible, is it true, not true, all this it will do. But when you bypass the conscious mind, and there are various ways of doing that, one of the techniques is to be in a deep state of relaxation. The deep state of relaxation, when you give suggestions, when you give inputs, it goes directly into the conscious mind, and the conscious mind just accepts things as it is. See, this is one of the very, very important reasons why we again and again we are saying keep focusing on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want, because every time you keep reinforcing in your mind what you do not want, you are actually giving input to the subconscious mind saying that this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth, or this is the reality. And that will more and more of that will happen. So therefore, this is, it was in a way a very fantastic insight for me. Focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you do not want. Our natural tendency is to tend to focus on what we don't want, because that is our pain point. That is the where our survival process is. That, let us say there is a physical body pain or whatever it is. Even if, let's suppose there is an illness in the body, right? Rather than focusing on this pain that is there, when you close your eyes and visualize yourself in the peak of health. I hope you're getting the point that I'm saying. So when this conscious mind gets bypassed, the data is fed directly to the subconscious mind. Next, imagine the pleasure that you will have if your goal was a reality. What we visualized is, first we did the writing down of the goal. Next is visualizing, closing your eyes and visualizing the goal, the steps that takes to achieve the goal and that goal happening. And the pleasure, imagine the emotions that will come when your goal becomes real, right? Feel that ease, that lightness, the freedom. From a financial point of view, debt-free, you're debt-free, whatever the case may be. Experience that. Just close your eyes and just visualize that wonderful feeling of how you will feel when that thing is real. Right now you're visualizing as if it's real just now, and the emotions that come along with it, just feel it, right? For example, you imagine yourself that you're on a holiday. Right now, if it's a financial goal that you've chosen, you're beyond all financial constraints, so you're on a dream holiday on the Hawaiian beach. You're taking a vacation. Visualize whatever is true for you. Now, this is what the point I said, the law of relaxation. In all mental working, effort will defeat itself. When you are working on the external world, you have to do physically, you have to work hard, all those things are there. But when you are working with your mind internally, effort is a self-defeating process. So use relaxation, find ways and means to achieve relaxation. And in a relaxed state, whatever input you give, it works better. The more relaxed you are, the more powerfully it will work. So it's like this. If you want to drive a nail into the wall, you have to hit harder and harder, right? When you work, you do it with intensity. But if you want to achieve a goal with your mind, remember, you relax as you feel that goal. As you're feeding that goal into your mind, relax. Make no effort at all. The less you try, the faster it will work. Remember this as clearly as you can. The more you relax, the faster and more beautifully it will work when you're working with your mind. It is like, you just imagine that you've put a cloth on there is a bucket of water. You've just put a cloth and just left it on the surface, and just visualize how that cloth will just slowly soak and just sink in. Imagine, contrast that with, you put the cloth and you're forcing it into the water. Not like that. It's as if you've just put that cloth and that cloth is slowly getting wet and slowly it just sinks in. Just visualize that. That is the way it has to be. Effortlessly, it should just sink in. Let it soak into your subconscious mind. That is the way this mental things, whatever you're working with your mind, works. The next technique we are going to talk about, this is a second technique for a very specific purpose. When we want to have an immediate achievement, there is something that we are immediately going to do. Immediately before any significant achievement, event of importance is going to happen. For example, suppose in the Indus Viva context, we are going to talk to a potential customer. We are going to have a call, whether it is for the business or whether it is for a product, we are going to have a call. Okay. Before every single non-recurring event, this is like for every event, you do this. Whenever you're going to a particular process, you do this, right? Whichever any important event of importance, you do this process. For example, it's a sales call or a follow-up call or an invitation, whatever you may be doing, just do this process. We will talk about what that process is. It has 3 steps. Step 1, visualize the perfect outcome. That means you are visualizing as if it's worked out in the best possible way. The event has not happened, you have not yet gone into it, but you have shut your eyes and you're just visualizing as if it's happened. Example. So this is something that Brian Tracy gave two fantastic, very beautiful examples. Okay, two salespeople. Okay, these are actual. It is not hypothetical. These are real things that have happened. Okay, two salespeople used the same visualization technique. There was a difference though. One person visualized that he's getting into this conversation and the conversation goes very beautifully. Everything went perfectly. He's visualizing it like that. The second person visualized that everything went, of course, beautifully. And finally, the order got placed. That means he got a signed check or he got the payment. He visualized that at end, that final thing happened. Okay. The difference is that in the case of the first salesperson, the way it worked is that the person, everything was fantastic. They listened and everything. They said, okay, we will discuss and get back to you. In the case of the person who visualized that he's actually completing the process, that means the order got placed, the payment got made. Okay, the person joined the team, whatever it is. That when he visualized, it actually, that end result, the person at the end of the process, the check got signed and handed over. This is the power of visualizing in advance. Okay. Another very, very powerful example. In the 1970s, the National Football League, this is in the US, they have the Super Bowl. Okay. So there are these two major contending teams. One is the New York Jets, and another is the, oh, I have 10 minutes to go. Okay. The New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Okay. So the New York Jets, the way they visualized it is that both of them, they're from the runners up, they are going higher and higher, and finally they are coming to the finals. So they visualized, the New York Jets visualized that they are entering into this whole ground in the finals. They are entering into the ground. Okay. The Miami Dolphins, what they visualized is that the match is over and they are running out of the ground as the victors. And just this difference in visualization, that the New York Jets visualize that they are reaching the finals. They are entering the ground as the final players. The Miami Dolphins visualize that they are exiting the ground as the victors of the finals. The Miami Dolphins won. Okay. The power of the visualization is so powerful like that. So that is why the point is this: visualize the final outcome right up to the end. Don't leave it somewhere in the middle. Whatever final outcome you want, visualize it right up to that end. Next, affirm that visualization. So instead of saying that this is a wonderful sales call, this is the visualization internally you're telling yourself, it's a wonderful sales call. You have not entered it, you're going into it. Instead of it, you can say that I will close this call with a happiness for everyone involved. Okay, a very positive affirmation, which is benefiting everybody. Or I walk out with a confirmed order after payment. Whatever is the context, visualize it with the final end result, right? And then the third step is that you emotionalize it. Just experience that emotion, that at the end of this whole process, the emotion that you feel, wow, that feeling of success. And after that, just release it. Just let it go after that and walk into wherever the event that you're going, whether it's a phone call, whether it is a meeting. Close your eyes and feel how happy you will be if that sale is successful, and then just let that whole feeling free. Just release it and then walk into the meeting. This is a process. This is a very, very powerful process to be applied every time you are entering into any such process. This is the second one. As we said, we are talking of very specific actionable systems we are talking about. Third is what we call a mental rehearsal technique. Now, this mental rehearsal technique is something that athletes are continuously using all the time. The process of living it on the inside before having it on the outside. Whatever it is that you want on the outside, first live it as if it's a living experience inside of you. All athletes use it. Before an important event, top performers recall and relive excellence. That means they visualize that excellent performance that they are doing. They just recall it. In the past, they have done it. They recall that how beautifully they did it, and they relive that experience. And they keep doing it again and again and again. They visualize it and see that perfect performance. So, yeah, in one of the previous training sessions, we have spoken about Mary Lou Retton, who is an American gymnast who won the Olympic gold after 10 years of intense work. But all those 10 years, she kept visualizing that she is the Olympic gold winner. And there is a series of events which kind of, what shall I say, nature conspired to make this whole thing happen. It's like in the last session, we spoke about uh, what was it? We have this whole thing, no, that where we conspiracy. So it's like a positive conspiracy happening. So this person, Bella Caroli, was a Romanian coach, okay, and he was the top coach from Romania. Okay, and he was the coach for you. Many of you would have heard of Nadia Comaneci, the Romanian gymnast who was like a top gymnast. He was the coach for her. He defected from Romania to US, and by a series of chain of events, unrelated events, he became the coach for Mary Lou Retton, and that person was the turning point for her, and finally she won the Olympic gold. So he used to keep telling her to visualize, mental rehearsal. So basically how it works is like this, that you take one success experience and you mentally just play it over and over again. That's it. The subconscious mind treats each replay as if it's a new success experience. There is just one success experience that has happened. You just take that success experience and just play it in the mind. Just play it in the mind again and again and again. Every time you play it in the mind, the subconscious mind treats it as a new success, right? And it programs you to have more repeats of the same success, right? In other words, when you keep doing it over and over again, a point comes when you just get predisposed to being successful. Now, what if you do not have any success experience so far? Till now, there has been no success experience. What do you do then? Well, imagine a success experience. It does not matter. It does not have to be an event that has actually happened. Just imagine, create in your mind. See, we can imagine, no, we have such a fantastic imagination and we use it for imagining the most disastrous, the most horrible of things. We use our mind to imagine it. Why not imagine a fantastic success experience happening? The subconscious mind cannot make out the difference between a real or an imagined experience. And therefore, it will treat as if it's a success experience happening and keep replaying it again and again in your mind, and success will happen. So think about what is it that you desire, not about what you fear. We spoke about this. Focus on what you want. Do not focus on what you do not want. When the mind begins to drift to unwanted or negative thoughts, that means, let us say you have an upset, you're angry, you're becoming unhappy about anything. Loudly tell yourself, stop, stop. Just stop yourself at that point. The moment you become aware, put an end, just put a break, just stop. Okay. And in that, this is called a pattern interrupt in psychology. Just create a pattern interrupt. Just the mind is just going on and on. Just say, stop. And at that moment, when you're creating that break, it's like, somebody is hysterical. What do? You just give a tight slap to that person. Immediately, the hysteria will just subside, right? So at that moment, when that pattern interrupt happens, immediately shift your thinking to what you desire, to your desired outcome, right? It is natural that we will have this tendency to go towards what we do not want. It does not matter. Use this, stop, create a pattern interrupt, and again shift to what you want. So this standard affirmation technique, there are 7 steps to this. So this is the 4th. We have spoken about 3 of them. This is the 4th technique we are going to talk about. So set up 10 to 15 goals. See, there are stages. Earlier, we have spoken about writing down 100 goals. But at a time, the mind cannot work on so many goals. And maximum, it can work on 10 to 15 goals at a time, right? Beyond that, the mind will get overloaded. And it may be even difficult to review so many goals. So while you will write down all the fantastic dreams that you have, write down 100 dreams, write down 100 goals, but select the most important of them. Select 10 to 15 goals and write them down on index cards. It's like small cards. No, if you remember in the libraries earlier, there used to be those index cards where you go and search those cards and find the right book that you want, right? So that kind of cards, write it as we spoke about earlier, positive present tense personal affirmations, and write this in a very, very simple sentence in big, bold letters that you can just read. You just look at it, you can read it. Okay, for example, I weigh 64 kg. I earn rupees 2.5 lakh per week by 31st December 2024. Write it in bold, write it in very, very simple words, simple enough that a child can understand. Okay. Now do this exercise twice, morning and evening, and ensure there are no interruptions when you're doing it. So just keep yourself, it's like a private time that you're taking. Step one, look at the card. The subconscious mind will take a photograph of that card. When you're just looking at it, the whole text is there, the whole card with the text, the mind will take a photo, and the photo is filed away by the brain. Next, step number two, read it, repeat it, and then close your eyes and visualize it. So when you close your eyes and visualize, you're visualizing yourself taking the necessary actions required to achieve the goal. Whatever is that goal that you want, it's not just the end result that you're visualizing, but also the steps required to achieve it. And then visualize that goal getting fulfilled. If it is weight, if it is health, then the weighing scale is showing 64 kilos. If it is a financial thing, your bank statement on 31st of December, visualize yourself that it is showing a deposit of 2.5 lakhs. Whatever is that goal, visualize that end result. Right. Now, the third step is visualize the outcome of it. That means after losing weight, you visualize yourself that you're doing things that right now, because of the weight, you can't do. Right? Maybe you're running up the steps of a, there's a temple up on the hill and you're running up the steps, or you're going trekking up on a mountain. Things that right now you couldn't imagine doing. Visualize yourself doing that. Right? After, if it's a high income thing, then things that will bring with the high income. You're a black diamond ambassador in industry, you have visualized it, you're living the life of your dreams, the dream destinations, you have your dream house, everything. What I'm saying is that visualize the final outcome of whatever is that goal that you have set. And the step 4 is imagine the feelings that you will have because of that outcome. So first we said that look at that card so that the mind looks at it like a photograph. Second, we said read it, repeat it, shut your eyes, and visualize the process itself of going in the process of achieving the goal and achieving the goal. Next is visualizing the outcome. And finally, visualizing the feelings that come because you have achieved whatever you wanted to achieve. Repeat this process with all the cards. So you started with card number 1, you went through this whole process, then card number 2. Look at it, repeat it, close your eyes, follow the process, right? Now repeat this twice a day. Morning, first thing in the morning. That means as soon as you wake up, this is a process that you can do first thing in the morning. When you do this in the morning and you do this consistently, you will start seeing that suddenly in your life, day-to-day life, you suddenly start seeing opportunities come up. Whatever is that goal, for fulfilling that goal, suddenly you'll see, Arey, this is an opportunity to fulfill. You'll suddenly start noticing that opportunities are coming your way now. And evening before dinner, if you do it, like you at night, if you're doing it, then your program, that whole mind will start working in your sleep for ensuring how to reach this. The subconscious mind is working in sleep. So in that sleep mode, it is working on how to make you achieve this. And what will happen is that as the days go by, these goals will get locked into the subconscious mind. So it'll be a completely like right now, you imagine, like when you first learned cycling, okay, or swimming. Initially, it was a completely conscious process. Consciously, you were doing every step. But once you reached a certain point, or driving the car, once you reach a certain point, just completely unconsciously, you're just it happens. Because after a point, the subconscious mind takes over. And that will happen even with this inward process of goals. So that's the very, very specific actionable steps we spoke about of the software for your brain.